Standing on a well-treaded concrete doorstep, you finally figure a dress was not suitable for today's weather, rainy with the chance of hypothermia. You are stubborn and formal, not minding the discomfort for as long as you can keep up appearances. After all, you have a business to start, which is already gaining ground. A little antique store down Main Street. What a marketer your sometimes irritating spouse was. The house you visit is massive, obviously costly to the owner. Any windows you see are suspiciously painted over, like peaks of through bubbles in it, but it's off-putting. But you're the only here to drop off something, right? You knock on the old door before you, three strong thumps against the scratched wood. There is a knocker, but you see no use in it. It is quiet on the other side for a minute or two. Cars pass behind you, more than likely caffeine-induced commuters heading to work or parents taking their children to school. In your fingers, you clutch a few papers with words and designs on them. They are plans for something. The reason you are here is this busy neighborhood. You want to make a sign. Air rushes out from the newly opened door. An unruly, meek-looking man wearing sunglasses stands there. He smiles, flipping the dark lenses up to reveal the grimy clear ones that is turned uncover for his studying gray eyes. On his hands were slightly singed leather gloves. There was a certain friendliness to him, accompanied by a joyful gleam in his eyes, that compels you to push your nervousness at his oddities aside and hand him the prints. You address Mr. Harold Donhai directly, being blunt and telling him exactly what you want. He mulls over the colorful parrot now in his hands, look up and asks, "How much are you willing to pay for it?" "Enough," you retort, pulling out your wallet. "When can you have it done?" "Today," he replies immediately. No hint of the happy gleam it reflects in his serious answer. Obviously, you take this as a joke. There is no way in the sign that complex they could be created in a day. Not even a week is able to produce a decent copy. A sign such as one that he holds might take well over a month, maybe even two, to bend, color, and power. Laughing, you tell him exactly what you think. Donhug chuckles as well, but not for the same reasons. He beckons you inside. This is unexpected. However, he promises to show you when he manages such a thing, although you had other plans for today, like buying whiteboards to set up in your new shop's windows. You decide to humor him and take his jokes played out. Silently fussing over a loose hair, you step over the threshold in his large home. Immediately, a small neon sign reading, "Welcome," greets you, flashing green constantly in a 1-2-1-2 pattern. Its bubbly letters are quite appealing. When you ask Donhug about it, but he ignores the question and keeps walking. Saying no more, you catch up again. A gray train with animated red wheels is next, when a yellow bee with blue wings with the words, "I like to eat," appears in a messy kitchen. You know what he's trying to show off his creations, maybe an attempt to impress you. If that is indeed the case, his efforts are working. Logos for famous companies appear in inappropriate colors, alongside with their mascots, and the more animals flaunt with their stripes and shades. Some are moving pictures, others aren't. All you have the charm, but you can't describe which one makes them their own. While you walk continuously, growing more enchanted by them, you ask what little incoherence you have. "They're pretty wonderful, I mean, but don't get the neighbors find them disturbing?" "Say it right. They must shine through the paint then." "I have gotten complaints, strangely enough." He mutters the same that someone might be arguing with the ridiculous ideal. "Worry not, though, they get their sleep. I mean rest, so no one is too bothered." Passing another light, you lose concentration. He cuts the conversation as short as you stare blankly at the shunning chameleon. Cowboys, cars, and out-of-style phrases plaster rooms you would never notice without them. They would block the clutter of said rooms, drawing in your attention away from it, calling out to you. "Come and look at us," they seem to say. "Aren't we beautiful? Colorful?" "Wow," you find yourself repeating, unable to contain your fascination. Your walk lasts for a good 10 minutes. You fail to note that the house is an impossibly labyrinth structure. Donghung's signs takes the time pass in a flash, or rather multiple. He has made a rainbow with no real end. Not that the sign burns out anyway, but the prospect of it seems impossible. You feel like you've just made a few hundreds of friends. When you find yourself a little out of trance, bright colors and buzzing electrically throughout, the two of you stand in the tiny basement room. A set of rickety stairs lay directly ahead, but Donghug blocks them. His arms are wide as a defensive gesture. "This room is where I make my signs," he says, smiling proudly. "Wasn't this what you wanted to see?" Peering around, you find that the room was devoid of anything, besides the white paint covering each wall. All floorboards under your feet are the same plain color as the walls. Seeing the trap that you've fallen into, a sort of panicked sickness racks your heart. You hastily query as to why he corners you now. Does he desire money? Self-gratification? Or worst of all, does he have an unquenchable bloodlust? To all those Donghug shakes his head in wild air. "So why haven't you brought me down here, heathen?" His words are painfully stranded, lightening your emotions like bold letters on the page of a lattice. "You can't just don't get it, do you, ma'am?" he shouts, his voice echoing off the walls. "Even after I show you all my signs, after they have spoken to got to know you, you refuse to understand?" "What I am to understand, Donghug? You are the crazed person who's missed an innocent woman? Now I know all you need to do." He suddenly cocks his head, his universal signal of curiosity. He concentrates on you. His eyes seem to study harder than ever. "My, I think you have the right amount of color." Parrot, the fear that made you all forget about. He refreshes your memory by bringing some folded sheets out in a pocket of his blue jeans, scanning with the keen interest. It's amazing what a room like this can bring out to the people, with a little stimulation, of course. Glancing up again, his gray eyes flicker. The gleam from before had more than ever refraction of light. It was light slowly mixed with neon hues, began to swirl inside his irises. The sight of it is too wondrous that you walk closer to have a better look. Just within the reach of certain Donghug, grasping your arm tightly, he grabs a hold of you. His pure blue light seeps with it, feeling inexplainable, better than the earthly pleasure coming from honesty. Taking the other arm, he causes you something similar to happen. This time brilliant red light irises instead. A familiar buzzing returns to your ears. You urge to him to stop his foolishness, but the more and more your body shines, eventually the glow reaches to the soles of your feet and the tips of your fingers. The entire room is magnificent spectrum of shades. The buzz drowns out each word as he utters, but you can see his lips move, then howl during his painful fills as he rips you right away like a poor sketch of a drawing book. The buzzing stops, of course, but you are left to suffer on the floor. Donghug gasps, bends over, pulls something from your hair. No longer you could feel anything as your chroma-less body is taken from you, given one last jolt before falling flat. "I almost got you," he whispered. His face is much bigger than before. "Sorry, ma'am." His eyes are gray again, with the characteristic gleam, giving one final wink. He clicks on the dark lenses back down, and he sets to work on making a sign. Formatting the tubes around the light and bending them together makes no time with the safety gloves to protect them from the burns. Soon, Mr. Harold Donghue, as a parrot others, would be jealous of him. "Look at me," you say, flickering joyfully, striped over everything else except for your color. "Aren't I beautiful?" What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.